I don't know. It's so much sticking points. Anyway, weiter.
Yeah, whatever. Anyways, where's everybody tonight? It's a Sunday night. There's no World Series tonight. All right. Okay, so you got these long daf to finish off the Masechta. Right. So now we continue with the Yichus.
Where'd you leave off?
Mishnah, top of the daf. Can't get it easier than that.
Ayin Zion on the top.
Ayin Zion. Yeah, so it gets a little confusing here. Just it's not real. I mean, it's not confusing. It's just technical. Again, you got to wonder why the Torah had to make it that there's a difference between a boy chalal marrying a girl chalal or a girl marrying. I mean, I can't even say it straight. A boy chalal marrying a female chalal is different din than a female chalal marrying a male chalal, etc., etc. Anyways, so let's see. Let's really go through it. It's in the Amid Aleph is technical, and Amid Beis is lumdus to the wazoo.
Is Gershon on tonight?
Gershon and Akiva are not on so far.
Oh, okay, so let's
we
let's
got
do Amid Beis first.
Okay. Bas Cholol.
Jacob, it's okay. I'll do what I did last night. After a half hour, I just muted everybody. That's why we accomplished.
Yeah, Baruch Hashem. There you go. Also, we have to figure out. I'm sorry, once it's scheduled. Did you hit record again?
Yeah. I'll start it again.
No, because how are we doing to see him Thursday? So what's Friday's daf?
Yeah.
Well, what's that? We're supposed to do more anyway. So
No, I know. I said you finished the whole Friday's daf on Thursday. Okay, we'll learn for a few minutes on Friday, and that's all. There's the Shem.
Right.
I'll be to keep the.
It's Friday stuff. The last stuff.
Yeah, it's about the Yomi.
That make a difference of totally. If we're making the CM Thursday, we got to finish it on Thursday. We can't.
We didn't have to eat on Thursday.
That's true, but if we want to do it legit. Yeah, but anyway.
Mixes.
No, I don't know. Okay, well, that should be the biggest issue, correct? I'm saying. But either way, we can't do two blot on Thursday. So basically, we have to pick up the pace the next couple. That's what I'm saying. Otherwise, we got to do two blot on Thursday.
The last Amid is just short Amid.
It's still long. It's Amid Aleph is quite long.
Now it's long. Last Amid.
All right, whatever. We'll see. So Bas Cholol. Okay, so Ayin Zayin Amid Aleph Mishnah. Bas Cholol Zochar Psulam and Akahuna Lo'ilam. The daughter of a Cholol Zochar, meaning he's a Cholol. Now, as we've been saying, the Kayin, another interesting din. The Kayin, who's the Oisvarf, but we can't call him Oisvarf if he does tshuva that we just learned, right? The Kayin, if he did, so talking about a Kayin, he didn't do tshuva, and he married somebody he was not supposed to marry. He himself is spick and span. He's fine, right? His kid gets the brunt of the issue. I guess the same thing with a mamzer. Well, but a mamzer, at least the guy's chayav chorus, the father. I don't know, at least whatever. Right? So, but anyway, so the cholol means he's the son of the father who was messed up. So bas cholol zachar psulam and akahuna la'olam. It's also he's possible in the kahuna forever. Meaning
Bas cholol zachar.
What? She. I'm sorry, I said he. She. The daughter of her father was her father is a cholol. No, father is a cholol. Right? Which means her grandfather married a grusha. Let's do it simple. Her grandfather married a. I mean, we're making this so much more complicated as I'm sorry. The grandfather married a grusha. Mamela, he's perfectly fine. His son, is a cholol. Anybody that any kids from then on that he has are considered chalols. That's all. Boys, girls, doesn't make a difference. If the father is a chalol, until the end of time, none of his kids are allowed to marry kehanim. Right? That's all it's saying. When the father is a chalol, till the end of time, all those kids cannot marry kehanim. Yisrael shenasa chalala. Let's say have a stama yid, a regular.
But you're saying all kids.
It's both. It's both. Correct. You're right. You mean you're asking why does it say bas?
Yeah, bas.
Right. Yeah, but it means anything, right? Because we're talking from the daughters, from the daughter's point of view, but it means both. The Avada means both, right? Because look at the next one, Yisrael shenasa chalala, but let's say she's the chalala, right? Then bitoy ksheira l'kahuna, then her daughter becomes kosher l'kahuna, right? Meaning, again, the daughter is a chalal, right? Meaning, once she has kids with a regular kosher husband, then it stops. The train stops. That's why it's saying bas, right? I don't know. Why do I feel like I'm doing Yavamas?
That's what I feel like.
Right.
Unless it says regardless of how many generations the chalal was removed from the kain who engaged in illicit union, the
Right.
daughter is a chalal.
Correct.
You just said if her kids are good.
If she marries a kosher guy, yes, that's what we're going to see. The next line. Look at the next line. Yisrael shenasa chalala, bitoy ksheir lekahuna. If a Yisrael marries a chalala, then the daughter is kosher lekahuna. As long as it's going through the boy, then anybody coming out from it is a chalal. Once it goes through a girl, then as long as the father's kosher, then anything after that is kosher. That's all. And then the Mishnah seemingly repeats itself. Chalal shenasa bas Yisrael. If you have a chalal who married a bas Yisrael, bitoy psulu lekahuna, his daughter is puzzled to kahuna, right? Which is really just a repeat, right? We said that it goes basar the father. Fine.
Now, we said we're not looking into this.
What do you mean?
We said learned something a few
This
weeks
is if
ago.
you know Vada. This is if you know Vada.
We learned a few weeks ago that we're not looking into this after Mashiach.
No, that was Mamzer. That was
And
Mamzer.
this we are looking into. Mamzer, you're not looking into this, you are looking into.
Maybe
Where's
yeah, maybe no.
Mashiach? What are you talking about?
Somehow when Mashiach comes, Mamzer, and we're not Suffolk Mamzer, not Vade Mamzer. Vade Mamzer, we said is out.
Okay, and then we learned something about telling only people that keep a secret.
That's to tell. Yeah.
That was this, right?
No, it was Mamzer. That was all Mamzer. Yeah. Anyways, so that's the first part of the Mishnah. Second part of the Mishnah is simpler. Basically, we're going to have a three-way machlokes over if the parents in order to passel and a kohen from marrying a daughter of a giyaris or a ger. So there's a three-way machlokes. If both parents have to be gerim in order to make the daughter passel, or just one. Let's see. Rabbi Yehuda Aimer bas ger zachar kibas chalal zachar. The daughter of a male ger is like a chalal, and therefore she is not allowed to marry a kohen. Right? Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov Aimer Yisrael shenas a giyaris bitoy ksher lekahuna. If a Yisrael marries a giyaris, meaning so the mother's a giyaris, the daughter is kosher to marry a kohen. If a ger shenas a bas Yisrael, and if a ger marries a bas Yisrael, bitoy ksher lekahuna, then the daughter is kosher to kahuna. So meaning according to Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov, as long as one parent is a Yisrael, then the daughter is allowed to marry a kohen. But a ger that marries a giyaris, the daughter is pasul to kahuna. Right? So but it's lechatchila. Meaning if she got married, they don't have to get divorced. That's what Shulchan Aruch says it. I mean, we pass on like this middle case, which is only a ger marrying a giyaris, is the daughter also to marry a kohen. But if she did marry a kohen, then she does not have to get divorced. Right?
And the kids are good or not good?
The kids are good either way. Saying. Right? So anyways, okay. Fine. So that's the middle case. And then and this is whether it's a ger or whether it's a avodim mishuchrarim, slaves that got freed. Even until 10 generations, until you get a mother who's a yid the kids cannot marry kohanim. Rabbi Yossi does away with this whole din, and he says that a ger that marries a giyaris, the daughter is kosher for kahuna. All right, so those are the three shittas in the Mishnah. Right? Says Akti Gemara, my la'olam. What does it mean la'olam? It says a bas chalal zachor is possible from kahuna forever. So Mao, the Gemara says Mao, the same midi dava mitzri adami. You would have thought it's like mitzri and adami. Mal halon la'achar shloisha doiras. Just like over there, it's after 3 generations. Afkan nami la'achar shloisha doiras. So too here also a giyaris, you can get married after 3 generations. Kamash malon that you can't. Fine. So, meaning, don't think that after 3 generations of halalim, you're allowed to get married to a kohen. You cannot. Yisrael shenasa halala. So we said if a Yisrael marries a halala, so the kids are not halalim. Meaning, if it's only the mother who has the issue of marrying kohanim and the father is perfectly kosher, then the kids are allowed to marry kohanim. It says that the kids cannot, he should not make his kids into halalim. And it says a husband should not become tamei when he's with his nation. Here, the ba'amav doesn't mean the nation of Klal Yisrael, means the nation of kohanim. If he made himself tamei, right? If he married, a kohen normally is allowed to become tamei when his wife dies, but not if she wasn't allowed to marry her. Meaning, we know that the Kiddushin works anyways, right? If the kohen marries a grusha, the Kiddushin works, right? But if she dies, he's not allowed to become tamei to her. So malal on scharim b'lo nekeva. So we know that kohanim, male kohanim can't become tamei, female kohanim can become tamei. So malal on scharim b'lo nekeva is just like over there when it says ba'al ba'amov. It's talking about males and not females. Afkan scharim b'lo nekeva. So too here, that it's only the males who carry over their cholol status to the kids. The females do not carry their cholol status over to the kids. Okay, if that's the case, so then why is the daughter, right? Like Naftali was saying, the first word in the Mishnah is the daughter is considered a chalala. If we're saying that it only goes over to males, so then why is the daughter? Right? We should be mata, the daughter of the Kohen Gadol. So when it answers miksiv b'noi, does it say b'noi zaroi ksiv? It says his literally means his seed, right? Meaning kids, both male and female. Lo yichal al zarei b'amav. He should not be metama. He should not make any of his kids into cholos. Okay, if that's the case, and then what about a granddaughter, right? We said that his daughter's daughter, the daughter will become a cholol. The daughter's daughter is not a cholol. Why not? It's zaroi bas b'noi tishtri. So then, the daughter of the kohen's. I'm sorry, I said daughter's daughter. The daughter of the son should be mutter, right? Because it's not considered zaroi, right? I mean, it's considered zaroi, but that's not the zaroi we're talking about. So when I answer, we make a hekish, a comparison between his zera to him, mahu b'toi psula, just like by him. On the first level, his daughter becomes possible. So too, his son has the same din as him, and his son's daughter becomes possible. Okay, so then when it says bas b'toi titzah, so then how come the daughter's daughter should be? Why is the daughter's daughter not a chol? The daughter's daughter should also be a chol. When it says imkain gzeira shava ma'ahane, so then the whole gzeira shava doesn't work. If you're going to say that the daughter's daughter is also a chalal, so then what's the gzeira shava telling you? The gzeira shava is supposed to be telling us that it goes down from male to male, not male to female. So then, if you nix the granddaughter from the daughter's daughter, so then you just nix the gzeira shava, so therefore it can't be, which is quite interesting because either. I mean, who says you have to have the gzeira shava, right? But it seems like no, the gzeira shava is there. We got to use it for something, right? So therefore, again, the daughter, the first generation daughter of the chalal is out. After that, everything is in. Fine. Chalal shenasa bas Yisrael b'toi psula. So a chalal who marries a bas Yisrael, the daughter is possible. So that seems to be a repeat. Hatanale Reisha. The Reisha said this: Bas chalal zachar psul min hakuna la'olam. If she's the daughter of a zachar, then she's possible forever. So Gemara says, I the Tani Reisha Yisrael shenasa chalala. Since the Reisha says Yisrael married a chalala, Tananami Seifa chalal shenasa bas Yisrael. The Seifa also said a chalal that marries a bas Yisrael. So Gemara says Masnisin the liker of Dustai ben Yehuda. We had this a bunch of blot ago. Our Mishnah is not going like Rav Dustai ben Yehuda. Why? The Tanya of Dustai ben Yehuda Aimer Kashem she b'nei Yisrael mikvah tahar l'chalalas, just like b'nei Yisrael are a mikvah tahar l'chalalas, right? Meaning, if a regular yid marries a female chalala, right? So then the kids are not chalals. So kach b'nei Yisrael mikvah tahar l'chalalim. So too b'nei Yisrael are a mikvah tahar b'chalalim. Right? Meaning because the same way when a chalala marries a yid, the daughter is okay. So when a halal marries a Jewish or a Yisrael, right, a Yisrael, so then the daughter is mutter, right? Meaning he's saying that the same way that when a halala, meaning her father she's a bas kohen, but her father made her puzzle. But when she marries a Yisrael, who's obviously not a halal, then the daughter is allowed. So when a halal marries a bas Yisrael, the kid's also going to be mutter. My time of the reduced of Yehuda. Why does he say that? It says he should not make his kids into chulin. Ba'am echad hu demechel. It's only within one nation, meaning amongst the Gehanim. But when it's two nations, then it doesn't become a chol. So when the Bas Yisrael marries a Kayin who's a chol, that's two different nations. So therefore, doesn't make chol. Fine. It says a person should not make his kids into chulin. He atzma minayin. Fine. So how do we know that the lady herself becomes a chalal? Meaning, if she's a grusha and the kohen marries her, right, then she becomes a chalal. Right? It's interesting because he himself does not. Right? A kohen marries a grusha or an almana, or a kohen gadol marries an almana. Right? So she becomes a chalal. He does not, which we're going to see in the Gemara. Right? So how do we know that she becomes a chalala? Amar kavachomer mazar shaloi avar avera mischalo. The kids didn't do anything wrong. All the kids did, they were born, but they become chalalim. So he sha'avra avera, she who did an avera, and it didn't shemischaleles. So she should become avada. She should become pasul to kahuna. To which you have a pasha to kasha. So then who atzma yechia? Well, he'll disprove that. Sha'avra avera vein mischalo. He did that. He did an avera. And he doesn't become a chalal, right? Yeah. So because the truth is there is something wrong with him. He has the Rashi brings the Mishnah in Bechayris that when a guy marries a grusha, a kohen marries a grusha, he is puzzled. He can't do. He's puzzled for kahuna until he makes a neder that he's not going to get any hana from her. Once he makes a neder that he's not going to get hana from her, then he can go back in. Right? So you see that he's not puzzled, he's only temporary puzzled. So if he doesn't become puzzled and he did something wrong, so why should the wife become puzzled? Even though she did something wrong. So when it says Malahu Shekain Ein Mischal B'chol Makam, he doesn't become a chalal in anything. Right? Meaning, if he's mezana with a zaina or an eved, right? He never becomes puzzled. Mashenkin, a woman, if she sleeps with a kusi, nasin, mamzer, then she's going to become a chalal. So therefore, tamar behisham is chalelas become makam. She does become a chalal. So then Gemara says, and if you have a heart to say, literally, or you want to say something else, meaning if you're gonna slug up this limud, I have another limud. Amakra lo yichal zara. You shouldn't make your kids into chalalim. Lo yichalal, which we darshan, right? Because it should have just said lo yachel without two lamets, right? Yod ches lamet. What's the pshat? Lo yichal, lo yichal, lo yichula. How do you say? Lo yichal zara. We darshan it lo yichulal, right? Which means zeh shahaya kosher v'neschalal. Somebody who's kosher and became a chal. So the Gemara asks, "Mayim nashal chlemer." What's this? If you want to say, if you want to say, you could ask, that maybe there's a kasha to ask because zarai they were created as an avera, meaning from creation they were an avera, right? Masha Enkain, the woman was kosher at one point. So that's talking about somebody like the woman who was kosher and then she became a halala. Fine. Okay, so that's how we know that a woman does become a halala, which is not fair, right? You have a couple who are misbehaving. He's a kohen and she's a grusha, and they get married. He does not become a halal, she becomes a halala. Again, just to reiterate, when it means that she's a halala, means that once she gets divorced, she can and she's a bas kohen, she cannot eat truma. She's out from truma. That's really what it would be negayah to her. But again, it's a little bit unfair. She becomes puzzle, he stays kosher.
But also her kids.
What?
Also her kids.
If it depends who she marries. If she marries a Yisrael, the kids are going to be fine. Right? So Tanrabanan, Ezi halala. What is a halala? Kol shanaldim in a psulim. A girl becomes born from people that are puzzle. Right? So my psulim, what do you mean by she was born from parents who were puzzle? Ima psulim loi, if it means psulim loi, meaning psulim to anybody, even Yisrael, that's not true, because you can have somebody who's a machzir grushasi. Machzir grushasi is that you're not allowed to marry. If a man divorces a woman and she goes and gets married to somebody else, then he's no longer allowed to remarry her. A man can only remarry his wife if she didn't marry anybody else in the interim. If she married somebody else in the interim, that's called machzir grushasi, and it's an isser. But machzir grushasi to psulaloi, right? She cannot marry her husband, ubanei ksheira, but the kids are kosher. Meaning, if the husband's not a kohen, Rashi says, right, and the kids, again, they got a Yisrael, gets married, divorces his wife, she gets married to somebody else, then she remarries him, then they have a kid. That kid is not puzzled to the kahuna. Right? That she's a tayeva. He tayeva, vein baneh tayeva. She's a tayeva. She's considered disgusting. Her kids are not. Right? So so you see that there is a possibility of an isser of marriage, and yet the kid is still kosher to marry a kohen. So what it means to say is ezi chalala kol shenolda min psul kahuna, not from psulim. If she's born from a psul kahuna, then she's a halala. Nolda ins, the Gemara says only when she was born loy nolda loy, but if she wasn't born, she cannot become a halala. We already said that she can. Ari almana grusha zaina deloy nolda v'kavi halala. We said an almana and a grusha, if they marry a kohen, they do become halala. So what are you saying that it can only be a halala if she was born into it? Somebody can be a born again halala, I guess, right? You mean you right?
So, no, a woman just makes the kid Jewish, but the status goes by the man, right? So then why are we even having this conversation? The status goes by the man, meaning like if man's a Kohen, then the kid's going to be a Kohen. And so if the man makes the mistake and marries a Gerusha, a Kohen marries a Gerusha, it's on him. He's done the halal.
No, she also did it.
She also she was part of the problem. She was part of the problem, but all that stuff follows the man theoretically. That's what it looks like according to like this whole conversation. No, the woman can have all. The woman being halala, but if the man's fine, then the kid's gonna be fine. That's the whole conversation here.
Except there's an Avera over here. Once there's an Avera goes in, that changes the equation.
If the man does an Avera, not the woman's got to be part of the Avera. She is the Avera, basically. So if the man commits an Avera, then the halala is on the man. The halala would be through the man.
Well, why is she not doing an Avera?
I'm saying that I didn't say she wasn't doing the Avera. She's just part of the equation. But all that follows through the man. We saw that from the Mishnah. I have to find the Mishnah now, but we even saw that from the Mishnah where it said that I can't find it now. But
yeah. So what are you saying?
I'm saying what's the point of the conversation if we already know that the woman can be a halala, marry someone, but it won't affect the status of the kid, of the offspring. We already know that they won't affect the status of the offspring. But if the man does the avera with his halala, if the man, meaning like it's like I said, a Cohen with a Garusha, we already know that's gonna create a halal in the Zer Yisrael.
Correct.
We already know that.
Right.
Well, why do we care if the woman is a halal? It doesn't. Why are we bringing up the fact that the woman's a halal then? If we're trying to just figure out what the definition of the status of that kid.
Well, no. What the Gemara is saying now is that the Gemara initially is saying that the only way to become a halala is if you're married into it, menage marriage, you're born into it, right? Meaning your parents are puzzled. So then the Gemara said, "What do you mean? There's a scenario where you can become a halal even if you're not born into it. A lady misbehaves, right? She's a grusha, and she marries a kohen, so she misbehaves, so then she's out. So it doesn't have to be from birth.
That doesn't affect the kid. I'm trying to.
The kid will be affected. Sure, the kid will be affected. In that case, the kid will be affected. The kid will not be affected, Gershon?
Oh, we're talking two different conversations here. Simon, you're asking about the kid. The Gemara is not discussing the kid right now. The Gemara is discussing the mother.
Right, but in this case, the kid will become a chalal.
Yeah, the kid will become a chalal, but that's because of the father's sister, not because of the mother.
What do we care about?
Simon's right. The mother is irrelevant to the kid. The father has to commit an isser in order for the kids to be a chalal.
Okay, all right. That's what you're saying. Okay, all right. That's good. Okay, but that's okay. That's the confusion.
Thank you, Gary. You explained my idiocy very quickly.
No, it is. Takes one Midwesterner from another, to help explain it. That's it. You know what I mean? Y'all think alike. Very good. Okay, let's see what. So Omar Rabba, Hachikamar, Ezu Chalala Muskeres. What's the halal that we're talking about? Shasa kosher klal, that she never was kosher at all. Kol shanaydam in psul kahuna. She was born from somebody who was a psul kahuna. Meaning, if she was born not from a psul kahuna, then she could still become a halal. But there are people that become halals right off the bat, and that's if her parents were psul kahuna. Meaning, it was her father's a kohen married a grusha. My muskeres. What does it mean? That with the halal that we mentioned. What's a halala that's straight up in the Torah, and you don't need the Rabbanon to explain it? Call Shenoldim and Psulei Kahuna. Anybody who's born from a psul, from Kahuna, that's straight out in the Torah. This that the mother can or a woman can become a halala, that we need a Gzeira Shava. And that's you need chachamim. You need the chachamim intervention in understanding chumash, which is very interesting, as it sounds like that Gzeira Shava is considered a derabanan. Am I making that wrong connection from this Gemara? It's saying
It's
What?
The Rabbanan had to interject. The Rabbanan had to get us there. It's not straight out in the Torah.
Right.
The
So
Rabbanan
no,
had
I'm
to
saying
learn the Gzeir Shavu.
correct, but that means it's a deraisa derabbanan. L'char, it's a gzeir shav
Deraisa.
considered a deraisa, right? But normally when we call something divrei seifrim, right, Rabban, this is one of the confusions here. Right? Normally we call something a divrei seifrim, it means a derabbanan. Here it doesn't mean that. Here divrei seifrim means we need the seifrim, meaning the chachamim, to tell us what the gzeir shav is. Memela, we know the Torah. So now we've had this before. It comes out that there's like 3 levels. There's a beferish in the Torah, right? A girl that's born to parents who married each other when they weren't supposed to, a kohen to a grusha. That kid is beferish in the Torah. Then you have like a step below, which is a woman who married a kohen, a grusha married a kohen, who it's a gzeira shava, but since the gzeira shava needed the chachamim to explain it to us, so therefore it's not on the same level as a deraisa, but it's much higher than a derabbanan. Okay, whatever, fine. Okay, that's the harder part. Now we have the more gishmaka part, which maybe is not because it requires episem lumdis, but it's more gishmak. So Torah almana, almana, almana. That's not the Gemara stuttering. Okay, it's right. It's not a typo. Okay, almana, almana, almana. Eina chayv ela achas, which obviously means if a kohen sleeps with an almana, a kohen gadol, 3 times. Well, we're not going to know what this means exactly. It says almana, almana, almana. He's only chayiv once. Grusha, grusha, grusha. And a chayiv ala achas is also only chayiv once. Almana ugrusha v'chalala zayna. He has. This is not a trifecta. This is what's the next one on top of a trifecta? There's something. There's a word for it. No, a quidcilla.
Sounds like a 4-14 parlay.
I don't even know what parlay is. I don't know what that even means.
You don't know that? No.
I know the Lashon. I have no idea.
It's if the Giants beat the Bears by 14 and the Eagles beat the Rams by 28 and the other team loses in the fourth, the 4 bets are tied into each other, then you can win like $1 million. But yeah, you always lose. So what's the difference?
Well, it sure sounds like that. Okay, so this guy is a grand prize winner because he decided to have one Maisabiyah, and it's together with an Ahin is a Kayin Gadol, right? He's a Mana, Grusha, Chalala, and a Zaina, right? So he picked it. So Bisman, but
this is 1 beer?
1 beer.
So how do you have 1 beer with a mana?
No. We're gonna say that
we don't know what it means yet.
We don't. Yeah, we're not up to it yet.
This one we know what it means.
Could have looked at Rashi.
This one we know. I didn't hear you guys.
This one we know.
Naftali, cheat. Look in Rashi.
Yeah,
I don't do that. I don't cheat.
He doesn't have his reading glasses. He cannot see. He cannot see his Rashi. He doesn't have the reading glasses. Okay. So anyway, so Bisman. So again, Almana, Grusha, Chalala, Zaina. Bisman Shem Kiseder. When she became an Almana first, then she was a Grusha, then she was a Chalala, then she was a Zaina. I guess she gave up as she went along. So therefore, she chayav al kol achas v'achas. Then he's going to be chayav on each and every one. But if she was first mezana, zinsa v'nischalala, then she became a chalala, then she became divorced, then she became an almana, and chayav al achas, and she's only chayav 1. Then the kohen is only chayav 1. Okay, we'll get back to that. First, the Gemara discusses the first case. Amar mar almana. Ein chayav al achas. He's only chayav once. Hi almana, hey chidami. What are we talking about? Ilay meshaba almanas Reuven, almanas Shimon, almanas Levi, meaning she was an almana 3 times, right? She lost 3 husbands, and then he slept with her. So amay ein chayav al achas. Why is he only chayav 1 on Talmud Beis now? Hare gufen muchlakin, right? I'm sorry, I explained it wrong. No, I mixed it up. He was slept with Reuven's almana, Shimon's almana, 3 different women, and Levi's almana. Right? I jumped the gun. I'm sorry. Right? He slept with 3 different women. Right? Each one from a different man. So why is he only chayav 1 on Talmud Beis? Hare gufam muchlakim. They're separate bodies. Hare shemos muchlakim. And they're different names. Now, names doesn't mean names, right? It means how do you call it? It's like eating 3 different animals, right? Eating tray from 3 different animals. Why shouldn't you be chayiv each and every one? Yeah, so Ella, meaning the reason why, okay, I don't want to confuse it, but it's really the same Isser. He's sleeping with Almana.
I understand, but that's like the being Chal Shabbos 3 times.
Well,
Behel Nachas, you're chayiv only once.
but we're not talking about it. Yeah, but it's 3. That's true. Yeah, now because Taisus asks a kasha, he says, "What's this shemus muchlakim?" Let's say a guy sleeps with 3 nidas, right? In one forgetting, he's chayav in each and every one, even though that's the same. It's the same thing. It's the same issa. Yeah. So meaning 3 nidas, I think, if they're all wives of one guy, whatever it is, you have to play around with I don't play around, but you have to. It depends on how you define shemus and gufa mechlam. When Taisa says the main point is that it's 3 different, like Peretz said, it's 3 different isurim. What's the difference if it's the same, right? You eat 3 pieces of treif, right? You're going to say, oh, it's all treif, right? Ella, so that can't be the case, right? Ella shabal almana achas shalosh bias. So must be that he was born on 1 almana 3 bias. So then Gemara says, hey, then what's the case? If nobody gave hasra, meaning if he didn't have 3 separate hasras for each time that he slept with her, so Vali only gets 1. No, he had the guy standing there and telling him, don't do it. And he did it 3 times. So why is he not chayiv only once? If you have a nazir who was drinking wine all day, obviously a nazir is not allowed to drink wine. He's only chayiv 1. Al tishta, but if they kept standing there and telling him, don't drink it, he's chayiv in each and every one. So then what exactly is the case? Can't be. So it can't be multiple almanas, and it can't be 1 almana. So what's the case? Like tzricha sheba almanas Ruvain, shahaisa almanas Shimon, shahaisa almanas Levi. The way I explained it in the first place, right? She married Ruvain, then she married Shimon, and then she married Levi. Obviously, after each one died. The same shemus muchlakim. So you would think. So it's 3 different shemus. Yeah. Kamashvalon gufim muchlakim beinon. You need 3 separate bodies, and that you don't have. Good lekin, you don't have that. Meaning, yes, it's 3 different. She's an almana 3 different times, right? So therefore, he's really like sleeping with an almana from 3 different husbands. But the bottom line is, it's the same woman. So since it's the same woman, therefore, it's only 1. Okay. Almana, what's the case? Almana grusha chalala zaina. So hi Tana Maikasavar. What does this Tana hold? Ikasavar isur chalal isur. Right? We all know this phrase. Isur chalal isur. Because essentially, what do you have here? You have she was an almana. Right? So now it's a kohen gadol. So she's also to marry the kohen gadol because she's an almana. Fine. Now she goes and gets divorced. Is there any? So she was already also to him al almana. So what's the difference if you hold that 1 isur is if you hold 1 isur can be chal on an isur, so then what's the difference? What order it is? Zaina, she could be a zaina, then an almana, then a grusha, then a chalala. What's the difference? If each isur is chal on the other isur, so who cares what the order is, right? So ikas over isur chalal isur if chanami. So in the opposite order would also be okay. Ikas over ein isur chalal isur, and if you say that 1 isur is not chal on another isur, I feel like you say there is a nami. Let's say even in the right, even that order, it shouldn't. Meaning it shouldn't count. If she was an almana, so then she's also to him. Okay, now she became a grusha. So what? Ain't this a chalal isur? But why should he be chayiv 4? So either way, doesn't make sense. Omar Rava, Haitana isur chalal isur lesla. He does not hold of isur chalal isur, right? So therefore, if he doesn't hold of it, then what's the difference what the order is? So Isser Maisif Isle, but he does hold when you add on an Isser, meaning you're not adding on an Isser to him, but when this Isser of the woman gets added to something else, then that's considered an additional issur. What does this mean? Almana asur l'kohen gadol. What was the order? She was an almana. So an almana is only asur to a kohen gadol. Fishari l'kohen hedget. She's mutter to a kohen hedget. Havi le grusha. Then when she becomes a grusha, so now she became asur. She not only asur to a kohen gadol, she's also now asur to all kohanim. So there was something additionally asur to her. Meaning the cheftza, this is why it's a lamdisha thing, right? To him, the guy in the kohen gadol makes no difference that now she became more. She was asur to Mount Salmona, right? But we're saying, but now she became asur to more people. Once she got divorced, now she became asur to every kohen. So therefore, since she became more asur to something in the world, therefore we do say that that's an additional issur onto the kohen gadol, even though nothing changed from the kohen gadol's angle. Nothing changed, right? So therefore, we add on the issur of kohen gadol. Fine, but she's still allowed to eat truma, right? Obviously, if she's a bas kohen, she could eat truma just because she was married to.
She got divorced.
What?
Just because she got divorced.
No, because she's divorced, so she goes back to her father's house.
Right, so she can eat shuba.
Right? But yeah, because she's not a halal yet. Right. She's not a halal, but before she marries the kohen, right? Again, she was an almana, then she's in a grusha. She goes back to her father's house and eats the truma. Right? Now she went and married a kohen. Now she can't eat truma like we learned in Ramadan because she became a halala when she marries a kohen. So then we're going to add on the issa to kohen gadol. Okay, fine. But Elazaina, my issa ma'isifa. What's the issa? What's Zaina bringing to the table? So now she became a Zaina. Right, let's say she slept with a guy. Right. So now what makes her? What's being added on? So Rav Chana bar Rav Katina Hayil b'shem znus paisel b'Yisrael, because the shem zus passes her for Yisrael. Right. Meaning, if a woman is mezana, Eishes ish, she's also to her husband. Right, so since she's also to her husband, so too here. If she was mezana, she becomes also to. It's possible she becomes also to a man. Remember, that's an additional issur. So that's why, if the kohen gadol slept within the proper order, almana, grusha, halala, zaina, he's going to be chayav 4 times. Again, not because she became any more also to him. She was also in from the first place, but since she had more isurim piled onto her, therefore, it's for him, it becomes more awesome. Fine. Tani Tana Kamedu Rav Sheshes. Kol shuhu b'yikach, harehu b'lo yikach. Right? That sounds confusing, right? Meaning, if a person is allowed to marry a woman, and then she becomes divorced, or a what do you call it, or an almana, so then it becomes below yikach. Then he's not allowed to take her. Kol she'ena b'yikach, but if he cannot marry somebody, ena below yikach, then he's not in the parsha. There's no issur of don't take her. Prat, what is this talking about? Sounds cryptic. Prat l'kohen gadol shabala chaysei almana comes to exclude a kohen gadol who sleeps with his sister who's an almana. Right? Meaning what we're saying is that we're saying that a kohen marries an almana. Okay, that's not related to him. So since theoretically there could have been a marriage there, but he has an issur of lo yikach because he's a kohen gadol and she's an almana, so he's over on the issur. But if that almana that he slept with or he married was his sister, since we know that a sister is not considered a marriage, so therefore when he's potter out the almana. Meaning, basically, what the Gemara is saying is that if a kohen gadol sleeps with his sister, marries his sister who's an almana, or sleeps with his sister who's an almana, he's not over on the almana part, because since he's already over on the sister part, there, and it's not a marriage, so therefore he doesn't have the issur of almana kohen gadol.
What punishment is he getting for his sister?
He's gonna chorus.
And for almana?
Almana's a lap. He loses out here.
Yeah.
Whatever. What?
He gets the worst punishment.
But it's not off the din of the worst punishment. It's off the din of the song. It says ki yikach.
That's called kinei rabin, right?
Yeah, but that's not what we're talking about. We're not talking Kilna B'Darabine. Here we're talking about it's a technical, like we say, it's a technical based on the psukim. You only have the Isser of Lo Yikach, which is that a Kohen Gadol is not allowed to take an Almana, only applies if there was ever a Yikach possible here. Since there was no Yikach possible, since it's his sister, so therefore there's no Lo Yikach on him either.
So they don't sing Mara Kohen when he walks out of the Mikdash, this guy.
Mistominat. Right, so Amalei.
No, but it's a good chilik, Naftali's saying. This is not because of Kimle B'Dravmine. There's no Kimle B'Dravmine here because there's no lav of Layikach. The lav of Layikach itself doesn't apply, not just the punishment.
Correct, yeah. But it has nothing to do with the company. Meaning, if it worked the other way around, then it would still be the same din. He would get the lighter punishment.
It's not because of the punishment. He doesn't have a lav of Layikach.
Correct.
There is no lav of Layikach.
Right, because since the marriage would never have been a marriage. Fine. So Amalei Damar Lachmani, who told you this? Reb Shimon da Amar Ein Isur Chalalisa. It's Reb Shimon who says Ein Isur Chalalisa, meaning first she was usher to him out sister, then she became usher out Almana. The Tani Reb Shimon Amar Ha'echol Nevela B'Yom Kippurim Potter. Somebody eats treif on Yom Kippur. He's potter, meaning he's potter on. No, he's potter on the Yom Kippur part.
What, treif is worse?
Treif was there before.
So if you're gonna eat it in Kippur, you might as well do go good.
If you're gonna so Naftali's saying the thing. If you're gonna he's saying a good thing, Naftali. If you're gonna eat on Yom Kippur, you might as well eat treif. Right? Eat treif, because like this, what's worse? Because there's no chi of chorus feeding treif. Rabban, you gotta have lumdus if you want to be over on the surim, you got to do it right. Right? I'm saying this thing is treif from before Yom Kippur. On Yom Kippur, it becomes a chi of chorus if you eat it. Right? So we're saying ain't isser chalal isser. So therefore, right? That's what Rishon would hold. Potter, the Rabbanon ha'amri isser chalal isser. The Rabbanon say that isser is chalal isser. Right? Afilu so when it says afilu Rabbanon, you could even say it's going according to the Rabbanon who say isser chalal isser. Kiyam Rabbanon isser chalal isser. When the Rabbanon say that we say one isser schal and another isser hanimili isser chomer al isser kal. That's only when then it's a isser chomer, right, is put onto an isser kal. Right? Aval isser kal al isser chomer, but an isser kal on isser chomer is like chayil, right? So isser kal and almana is a kal, is a lighter isser than a sister. Right? A kohen marrying his sister obviously is very chomer, it's chorus. Marrying an almana, who his sister happens to be, right, is much more makel. It's just a lav. So therefore, the Rabbanan there would say that the isser is not chal and isser.
And the Kippur the eating.
The chachamim who hold isser chalal isser would hold a problem because nevela is the lighter one, and then you add it on the chomer one. That's one way to look at it. Ikadamri, you have another.
According to this first Ikadamri, there's very little difference between the Manda Amr Ein Isser Chalal Isser and the Manda and the Rabbanan Isser Chalal Isser.
True.
They both say pretty much the same thing. As long as something's added, it's good. It's Isser Chalal Isser. If nothing's added, Ein Isser Chalal Isser. The difference of what's added. One's chomer and one's something added, something physical.
I hear. Elio Ikovic texted me. It's a superfecta. A 4. 4 is a superfecta. Okay, so this guy had a superfecta. There you go. All right. So Ikadamri. Or you can have another version. How many Rabbanan here to Rabbanan? The Amri Isser Chalal Isser. The Rabbanan say that an Isser is Chalal Isser. V'chiyam Rabbanan Isser Chalal Isser. Hanimili Isser Chomer Isser Kal. That's only when the second Isser is a Isser Chomer. Aval Isser Kal al Isser Chomer loy chayil, but an Isser Kal and Isser Chomer is not chayil. The Reb Shimon, because if it's going to Reb Shimon, Hashte Isser Chomer al Isser Kal loy chayil. If he holds ein Isser Chal al Isser, even by Isser Chomer, meaning Yom Kippur is not even Chal on Nevela, so Isser Kal al Isser Chomer be boy. It goes without saying. Do I need to say that a lighter Isser is not going to go on a more Chomer Isser? Meaning, if you're saying that you're potter on Yom Kippur for eating treif, because we don't say Isser Chalal Isser, even though the second Isser is Chomer. So of course, if a woman is a guy's sister, which is a Chomer Isser to be with her, and then she becomes an almana, which that second isser is much lighter, then of course we're going to say it's not chal. So the Gemara says, no, mal the same, isser kahuna shani. No, you could think maybe isser kahuna, right? Have a whole, yeah.
When we say issa to marry, we're talking about this issa bia or this issa to get married?
Both. I think both, right?
When he marries her with a ring, it's even
without a bia,
even though he doesn't have bia yet.
No, I think it's only with a bia. No, I think
it's only with Kiddushin. There's no Kiddushin. No Kiddushin. That's not called a marriage. Unless we're using it as a lashon saginar. But
no, he's making an important difference over here. With a sister achaysay, there's no kiddushin. With almana l'kayin gadol, there is kiddushin.
Kiddushin, yeah.
On the second isser there's kiddushin. On the first isser there's no kiddushin. Right.
But in this case, Lamaisa, kiddushin won't be chal because she is his sister. So it's talking about the bia.
Yeah. Yeah, very good. So then the Gemara says, okay, Ma'od the same Isser Kahuna Shani. Now, you might have thought that even according to Reb Shimon, maybe we'd say Isser Chalal Isser, because Kahanim have all sorts of Isurim. So therefore, it's a problem. All right? Kamash Malon, no, we still don't say Isser Chal al Isser. Fine. Then the Gemara has different kasha. Amalei Rapa Shaila. Amalei Rapapala Abaya. Yisrael Abala Chaysai. If a Yisrael sleeps with his sister, Zaini Mashvila, she's now considered a Zaina. Chalala Mashvila, right? Is she considered a Chalala too? Or Loi Mashvila, is she not a Chalala? Right? Meaning she's a Zaina now because you have a din Zaina with any Isser that you're not allowed to be together with. But is she also Chalala or not? What's the nafkamina? Right? If another a kohen comes along and is mezana with her, right? Is he chayiv twice al zaina and chalala or not? Mi amrina and kal v'chaymer. Do we say it's a kal v'chaymer? Mechavi lav and havi chalala. If a woman becomes a chalala from chavi lav and mechavi krisis like kol shekain. So if she's a chavi krisis, it goes without saying. Idoma ein chalala elam iser kahuna. Or we say no, a chalal only becomes aser from iser kahuna. Right, meaning only somebody who is usher to marry a kohen makes chalal, but not stam isurim. So Amalei ein iser chalala elam iser kahuna. Bavad, he said it only comes from iser kahuna. How do we know? So Amar Rabba Minaha Milsa, Damar Rabbanon, ein chalala elam iser kahuna. How do we know that a woman only becomes a halal from Issa Kahuna? Titania loya grusha b'kayin gadol. Why do you have to say that a gerusha is also by to a kayin gadol? But tesi mekal v'chamer kayin hedge. Yeah.
Is this lashon Rava giving cover to Abaya? Rav Papa asked Abaya, "What's the halach?" And Abaya said it doesn't make a halala except for Isurei Kahuna. And then Rava starts off, instead of saying that which Abaya said, he said that's which the Rabbanon said.
Again?
It was Abaya's psak. Rav is calling it the words of the Rabbanon.
Right. I mean, he's calling it the Rabbanon. I hear. Yeah. Yeah, maybe it's Taka, he's giving Mechaberim. Anyway, so the Gemara is asking a simple question. How come you need to say by a Kohen Gadol he's not allowed to marry a Grusha? Right? If a Kohen Hedjit can't marry a Grusha, so of course a Kohen Gadol can marry a Grusha. Why does it need to say it there? Right? And the same thing for Chalal and for Zaina. So again, Amar Rava, Minoha Milsad Amar Rabbanan in Chalala Elami Isser Kahuna, that there's only Chalal from Isser Kahuna. Why? The Tanya. We have a Bryce. Lo Yamar Grusha B'Kohen Gadol. Don't say Grusha B'Kohen Gadol, but Tasi B'Kav V'Chamer Kohen Hedjit. And learn it as a Kav V'Chamer Kohen Hedjit. V'Ana Amina. And this is what I'm going to say. Hashta L'Kohen Hedjit Asura. If a Grusha is also for a regular Kohen, the Kohen Gadol Mibai, do I need to say a pasuk for Kohen Gadol? So Lama Nemra. So why did it Taka say it? Kishem Shechaluka Grusha Mizayna V'Chalala B'Kohen Hedjit. The same way that there's a separate Isser for a grusha from Zaina and Chalala by Kohen Hedid, Ka Chaluka by Kohen Gadol, same thing as Chaluka by Kohen Gadol, right? Meaning, if a Kohen is mezana with somebody who's a grusha and a Zaina or a Chalala, then he's going to get malchus for everything. So when it says Pshita, well, Pshita, Migra Gara, why should a Kohen Gadol be any worse? Migra Gara, is he worse? Ella, Keshem Shechaluka Grusha Mizanim Chalalim Kohen Hedid, the same way a grusha is considered a separate isser from a Zaina and a Chalala by Kohen Hedid, Kachalmana, Chaluka Begrusha V'Chalala, Zaina B'Kohen Gadol. Same thing with Almana, Chaluka from Grusha, Chalala, and Zaina for Kohen Gadol, meaning the same thing, Grusha B'Kohen Hedid, so Almana has the same thing. Chalala, Lama Nemra, how come it says Chalala B'Kohen Gadol? Ain't Chalala Elam Yisr Kahuna. So that's telling us that there's no Chalala except from an Isser Kahuna, meaning a woman does not become a Chalala for stam from a Maisa's nus, she only becomes a Chalala from something that is Asr Kehanim. Zaina Lama Nemer, how come it had to say Zaina by Kohen Gadol? Nemer Kan Zaina, but Nemer Lalon Zaina. It says here Zaina, right? And it says Zaina by regular Kohen. Ma Kan Zari Chulin, just like here by Kohen Gadol. The kids become Chulin, Chalalim, Afla Halon, Zari Chulin. So too, a regular Kohen who marries a grusha kids a Chalalim. So Rav Ashi, Hilkach, Kohen Abba Ala Chaisai. Therefore, if a Kohen sleeps with his sister, on Tamid Aleph now, Zaina Mashvila, she has a din Zaina, Chalala Loy Mashvila. She's not a Halal. Right? Again, we're saying that Maisa's nus does not make Halal. It makes her into a Zaina, doesn't make her into Halal. So if a Kohen sleeps with his sister, Kohen Gadol sleeps with his sister, who's an Almana and a Zaina. I'm sorry, his sister who's an Almana. So she becomes a Zaina. Right? I'm sorry, no. I'm sorry. He's not Almana, no. She slept with his sister. She becomes a Zaina. She's not a Halala. Right? Chazar uba, but then if he goes and then he sleeps with her again, then I saw halala. Now he made her into a halala because now she was awesome. Meaning, when he sleeps with her the first time, she becomes a din zaina, not a din halala. Right? Now, when he's sleeping with her, she's not only is she his sister, she's also a zaina. So Mamela, now she becomes a halala. Okay. It's a hard daf there. Let's stop over here. We got to do the Tillim, right? Let's see the Tillim. We don't have to do it, we want to do the Tillim. Where is it?
Yeah.
I got it. Hey Gimel, yeah?
You want this?
That's fine, you can use it. Yeah, Shir Mizmar Asaf Elihim Adam Ilach Al Techarash Val Tishlet El Ki Hinei Yevecha Yamayim Musanecha Nasurosh Al Amcha Yarimu Said V'Yisiyad Su'al Tzfunecha Amru Lachu V'Nakidem V'Goy V'Lei Yisrael V'El Shem Yisrael Oid Ki No Yisrael Lei V'Yachta V'Lecha B'Sichrei V'Alei Adam V'Yishmaelim Maya V'Agrim Geval V'Avan V'Abalek Peleshes Im Yoshvei Tzar Kam Asher Nilva Im HaYisrael L'Vnei Leitzela Aselem Ki Midyon Ki Sisar Ki Yavin V'Nachal Kishan Ishvidu vein dor ha'yudayim la'adama shefteim ne'levim ka'ere v'chizei v'chizevach v'tzamunu kol nesichem asher amru b'nir shalanu eis nois alihim alehai shisem ka'galgal k'kashus meruach k'eish tevar yar u'cholov v'talahit harim kein tir devim v'sarechu v'sufasacha sevaleim ma'alef ne'en koloim v'vakshu shemcha adonai v'yivoshu v'balu adeyat v'yachberu v'yavedu v'yedu ki'ata shemcha adonai levadecha el yoin al kol ha'aretz. All right. Surah Taivas, and have a fine night.
If I could also just throw in there that that you could also use the term the golden sombrero.
Oh, the golden sombrero. Isn't that meant for strikeouts?
There you go. Well, if it's the opposite, then he hit for the cycle.
I guess you may. He thought he's hitting for the cycle, this guy, but he was Mazana. He got 4. Yeah, I hear. I'm asking. All right, listen, and whatever helps us understand this Gemara, that's bottom line. Right? Yeah. Anyways.
I didn't quite understand it. Golden sombrero?
I don't know where it comes from. where it comes from. But a guy strikes out 4 times in baseball. It's called a golden sombrero. So this guy struck out 4 times. He was mezana with an almana, grusha, zaina, and halal.
Rachamim, she was also his mother-in-law, so that's really
except for the mother-in-law. I thought that was 4 home runs.
And well, that's what he thought. That's what Abi's
right.
saying.
Till Bezdin found out about it. Till Bezdin found out
about it.
I couldn't resist.
There you go.
That's why I said except the mother-in-law. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Fine.
Okay, Geschmack.
How you feeling, Rachel? You feeling all right?
Okay, I slept a good part of the day today. That's I don't know. It's raining up here. It's whatever. I don't know. It's strange. It's strange. I guess I'm not. I never slept so much in my life. Whatever. I guess it's time. I guess I got to that time, get to that age or whatever.
No, I'm saying you went through a lot of stuff, so your body's wiped out.
Yeah, okay, but I'm not masking.
Listen, sometimes it's a mitzvah to rest up.
Yeah. I mean, there comes questions with davening, so like I got up. I was up there, whatever, 5:36 or something. It was too early to daven, and I really fell back to sleep. I'm up at 12. And I missed the davening, so I daven mincha. I daven mincha. What are you gonna do? There's no kriyushma. I missed that.
What's that? 12 o'clock. You could still daven before chatzos.
Yeah. Well, by the time I get my tefillin on, get up, and that was after that. So it was way after that. It's whatever. It's what can I tell you? It's I don't know. Yeah, got all kinds of doctor appointments this week because of last week. I don't know. I got to take my drugs, and that's why. Okay.
All right, feel good.
Yeah, I'm making a chasana in 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks.
I was wondering, when is the chasana?
Rosh Chodesh Kislev. You should have got the invitation.
I got the invitation. You think I remember?
It's the first day of Kislev, November 14th.
November
14th, Tuesday.
November 14th.
It's a very auspicious day. It's just my birthday also. Whatever.
Oh.
It's that's all you'll remember. It's on my ID. Yeah, it's 2 weeks from Tuesday.
It's in the camp. It's in the camp, right?
It's at the Camp Nagila. Yeah, Jep's camp. Yeah, in Foldberg. Foldberg.
All right, Bez Hashem. I think I have another chassan in Lakewood I got to go to, but we'll see how that's going to roll.
I'll send you. I can send you an excuse.
No. I got my son up there. I go visit him. Right in Foldberg.
Yeah, bring it to the chasana.
Nevada. Yeah. All right.
All right.
Have a good night, everybody.
Remind Biederman just spoke at the big Siyum in Bell Works.
The Siyum was tonight?
Yeah.
Well, how does that work?
I don't know. They're 5 blot ahead.
Okay, and then the other macha is like, what are you making these parties and all that when Klal Yisrael's at war?
I hear. I mean, yeah.
He spoke on video, or he came in?
No,
On video.
So what do you say?
He just said, it's the yard side of the Chazon Ish tonight. So he wrote a Maisa with the Chazon Ish. Famous Maisa. Bacher went to the Chazon Ish. He had certain health issues and he needed a surgery. And the Chazon Ish was well versed in medicine and doctors. So after he finished speaking, the Chazon Ish told him, you should have the surgery, and this is so-and-so is the doctor you should use. So Bacher asked the Chazon Ish, when he was, done, he says, can I learn some Gemara with the Chazon Ish? The Chazon Ish says, sure. He learns a little bit with the Chazon Ish, and as he's about to leave, the Chazon Ish tells him, by the way, you don't need to have the surgery. He says, what does the Rav mean? The Rav just told me I need to, and who the doctor should be. Chazon Ish says, yeah, that's B'derech HaTeva. B'derech HaTeva, if you need the surgery, you have to go have it. I can tell you who to go to. But someone who learns a Blat Gemara, he doesn't need to have the surgery. He's L'mayla min HaTeva.
Wow.
Yeah.
So did he have the surgery or didn't have the surgery?
No, he didn't.
Interesting.
Well, you gonna argue with the Chazon Ish?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to understand exactly when you apply that and you don't, but
Yeah, 100%. But either way, it was the same sack that he got from Chazon Ish. You know.
Applied in that case.
Yeah.
Applied in that case. If I would come and learn with him, I might not get that shot. So the Kenish learning.
They're not trying to learn out to every case, and not to get surgeries. Trying to say what the Koich HaTorah is. That's all. Only the Chazon Ish can tell you when to use it. Oh, no, not only the Chazon Ish. Only a gadol can tell you how to apply it.
yeah.
Very, very, very gishmak. Very, very gishmak.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Fine. Yashikeach.
Yashikayach. I get to know.
Bye.